In this video, I'm going to explain how to put in a lazy W row on a row minefield. Now, I was getting ready last night to do the video on the platoon drill, and then once again it occurred to me not everyone's has the same level of training I have, the same experience. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the different parts of the platoon level task of a row minefield and do individual videos of them, and then do the platoon level video so you see how all of it fits together. So in this particular video, I'm going to show you how to do what's called the lazy W. The previous video was straight rows. This one is a row that you put in there where you change direction within the space that the row is allowed. Now, what I'm going to use as an example is a disrupt minefield. It's the most common one I put in over the years. It was the easiest. For those of you that do not know, different minefields, different intents, have different composition as to how many mines are supposed to go into the minefield, and also which rows are where. Does the minefield have an IOE and an irregular outer edge? Does it have lazy W's? How many of them? Where should they be? Which row? And so forth. So this one I'm going to explain how to do a lazy W. Now, just like with a regular straight row, you draw your mines at the mine dump, you get your bag, your sandbag that has the arming wrenches, clips, and pins for the number of mines that are supposed to be in that row. I put in the description and that stuff. It was not uncommon for us to pick up a few extra mines. So if a row is supposed to have 42, we might pick up 45 or 46 or 49. 49 was typically our common that we would pick up for a row, and we would only use 42, but we had those 7 extra mines in case there was problems. So we get our mines, we come up to the marker where the first mine is supposed to be put in place. Now, according to current doctrine, and I really think this changed from when I did it, you go the space away from that flag that is the interval between your mines. So we're still doing 6 meters between mines. So we're going to go 6 meters straight out from that flag. We're going to put in our end row marker, which is something I forgot to mention in the other video. That end row marker is going to be something that can be found easily later. A very, very common thing going back to World War II was to take a picket, wrap it in barbed wire from top to bottom, multiple layers, and then bury it straight up and down in the ground as your end row marker. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going 6 meters straight out from our flag, putting our end row marker in the ground, and then 1 foot or 30 centimeters behind it towards the friendly side is where we bury the bag, the sandbag with the arming wrenches, the clips, and the pins. Now, while this is being done, our transport, and this time we're going to use a truck as our little simulator here, he gets lined up. Now, in a lazy W, you're going to have the turn point each turn. What we did, we used to take bicycle flags and we used to cross them, make them an X, but you still had 1 or 2 bicycle flags in each length here so that you could still line yourself up, so you could still keep going in a straight line. So the driver's going to line himself up at the start point here, They're going to drop the sandbag at that point. The vehicle's going to move forward till the 6-meter rope is taut. He'll be told to stop. One mine will be brought back, put at the location where the flag is. The flag will be removed. And then we go in just like in a regular row. The same procedure, you know, drop, drop, drop. With the laying team, arming team stays at least 25 meters back, at least 4 mines, or 6 mines. And then they arm the mines. Typically the Lazy W is not usually buried, but it's going to depend, you know. The person wanting this minefield in may want them buried, but for us the Lazy W typically was surface laid. It was not buried. So we come in, we start laying out our mines, we get to our flag. Now at this point, you're not going to drop your mine right at that flag point right away, okay? You'll probably leave back your 1 or 2 mines closest to the flag here, but mark the ground where that mine is supposed to be laid. Then you will get your vehicle positioned for the next leg. It may involve, you know, moving out, backing up a little bit, and then straightening out and so forth. Get into position. Drop your sandbag where the double flags are. Make sure you're lined up with the markers. And then you continue on like you did over here till you get to your next batch of flags. Same thing, leave out a couple mines for a little bit. Get your vehicle lined up. Get those mines put in back here. And then you continue on to your next leg. Line up, end row marker, end of your row. Everyone catches up. All the flags that were in here were picked up, tossed in the back of the vehicle. Everyone mounts up after the last mine is marked. Now, for how you determine how many mines should be in your Lazy W. Now, first off, each type of minefield will have some limitations as for how many turns there can be in a Lazy W. For a disrupt, it could be no more than 3 turns. So this is 1, 2, 3. Others, it says no more than 5. It also depends on how much of a distance you're going to be covering too. Now, these changes in direction will be logged on your minefield record. It will be done by azimuth. So from this point to this point, we're going to have this paced out, measured out. You want to, if possible, each length should be easily divisible. You can divide it by your mine spacing. So our mine spacing is 6 meters between anti-tank mines. We measured this out. We came out to, we're going to do 78 meters on this leg, 132 meters on this leg, 48 meters on this leg, and 60 meters on this leg. Now we're going to add that up. That's 318, so that's our total length that we're going to be covering with mines. So we take 318, divide it by the spacing, which is 6, and that will give us our total mines, which comes out to 53. So there will be 53 mines laid out in this row. There are some rules for how wide your Lazy W can be, how close it can be to the other rows and that stuff. I'll cover that in the platoon level video. But hopefully this gives you an idea for how to do the Lazy W. Just always remember, when you get to the turns, do not place down the last 1 or 2 mines. Mark the ground as best you can. Maybe dig your foot in, dig out a little chunk of the ground, something, mark it where the mine is supposed to go at. Let the vehicle move, get into position. Once it's in position, go back and put those mines in that you had left out for safety reasons while the vehicle was getting situated. And then you continue on with your next leg. And then you repeat the procedure at each turn point. And that's the basics on a Lazy W. Just like with a straight row, your start point will be your 1. Your end point will be the 2. We're going to say, because this is a disrupt, this is Bravo 1. And this is Bravo 2, so the enemy is coming from this direction. Now, you do not give these their own separate designations. You're not going to call this Bravo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Bravo 1, that's Bravo 2. These are the turn points. You do not mark them on the report as its own separate little location. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and Militia movements, always remember, essay-ons.